Going way back to when I started in journalism, it seemed to me at the time, and I'm going back to the late 60s, early 70s, I graduated college in 71. There were stories. Seymour Hersh did the My Lai Massacre. Daniel Ellsberg and Neil Sheehan. Daniel Ellsberg leaked the Pentagon Papers. You had Watergate. And it seemed like one big story could really change the national conversation and change history. And I thought that was just amazing. And if I've seen any difference, it's that more than 50 years later, I don't think that's possible anymore. It seems to me, I've been writing these stories saying that I think they add up to saying that Donald Trump is an asset of Russian intelligence. For me, that is an extraordinary fact of history that all the nations feel they have to address. But in fact, it's been out there and it really hasn't moved the needle. And so I think in a lot of ways, the press today does not have nearly the clout it once did. And that's been enormously frustrating. And that's one of the reasons I was so interested in talking to you, because it seems to me there were FBI people I've talked to. Do you think of Trump as, was he an asset of Russian intelligence? Am I going too far in saying that, or what do you think?
This is an important, I like going straight to the heart of things. I think this is an important thing to discuss, is so we don't get ourselves wrapped into a knot in semantics. What is an asset? How would you describe an asset?
When I interviewed KGB people about it, they said an asset is a trusted contact. And it's very different from being an agent. And it's really important to make that distinction. An intelligence agent is an employee. He or she is paid regularly. He can be tasked with specific operations. An asset isn't like that. It's just someone who's trusted, who can deliver information reliably or be counted on to do things that will help you in one way or another.
Okay, so from my understanding, I need to be careful how to talk about these things. So there's various different levels of assets. You can have a trusted or is that what you learned from speaking with what you would consider assets
And one
or
source,
agents?
the FBI described Trump as a hip pocket source. That is, he was not an informant who would have been on the FBI books as such, but he was someone who the FBI went back to again and again and who traded money.
Right, so what I'm hearing is you can have a trusted or an untrusted asset. You can have a on the books asset or a hip pocket asset, informal asset. Is that consistent with what you learned from?
Yes, yes, that is.
And also on another layer, there would be a known and an unknown asset or source. So a known would be somebody who knows they're an asset, and then an unknown would be somebody who doesn't know. Did you also run into that?
Yeah, in the CIA world, they talk about useful idiots. That is someone who's being used and they don't really realize it.
That would be like an unaffiliated or unknown asset. So somebody who's being exploited, but they don't necessarily know that they're being exploited by their intelligence service or the government.
Exactly.
Okay. So from one of the people you were speaking to, is it your logical assessment that Trump knew he was an asset or didn't know? Or I guess you can't guess what he knew, but what they believed.
I never like to put myself in pretending I know what's going on in Donald Trump's mind or anyone's mind for that.
Especially with all the disinformation and the AI out there.
But the thing with Russia is it doesn't take a genius to figure out their relationship to Ukraine. They invaded Ukraine. So Trump knows what Russia wants out of Ukraine. He doesn't have to have private conversations with them.